evening and welcome to Spooky South Coast. Tim Weisberg here, along with the silent assassin Matt Costa. We have Stephanie Burke here, and we have some special guests in the studio. I got to turn my headphones up a little bit so I can hear myself. There's nothing more important than hearing myself talk. But we have special guests in the studio. Hold on, Matt's going to make some adjustments for you. Don't just go randomly turning knobs because you'll blow out Matt's. You good? You good? You good? Everybody good? Frank, if you're listening, get rid of this stupid headphone box. Well, you can't hear yourselves, but can you hear me? Well, right, because I haven't turned your microphones on yet. You're not going to hear yourselves until I turn your microphones on.
Why start a show without the microphones
I thought you couldn't hear me, because I always...
No, can you hear
I can't hear you.
I can hear you now.
You don't need to hear me.
Right,
I will just give you hand signals the whole time.
Well, I'm fluent in sign language, so...
I am not, so...
I can hear.
Isn't she fancy?
Good luck trying to figure out what I can do. How's that working? Better?
Great.
Okay. Yeah, no, the whole... It's that thing. That's the problem. This is how it goes every time. Everything sounds fine right up until you start going on the air, and then everybody's like, I can't hear. Also, beware, because this is the Bridgewater Triangle episode of Spooky South Coast. And we never have one go without something going haywire. But that's all right. Because we just blame it on the fact that we're trying multiple new types of technology. But let's introduce our guests. Of course, the voice that you all know from the Week in Weird every week, Ashley Turner, is here in studio with us for the first time.
It's exciting.
It looks way better on camera, doesn't it, than it does in person?
It does.
Because
I like it.
you don't have to actually look at us the whole time.
Right, I can look at the wall or something.
Right. You can be like, I'm going to look at the chat room and turn away from the camera, but here you have to look at us. You don't have a choice.
Yeah, you got a point there.
And Cody, is it Despians?
Yeah.
Okay. I always am worried
perfect.
I'm gonna say it wrong. But Cody Ray Despians is here with us as well. Cody, this is the first time you've been in the studio, right? Have you been here before?
No, I've never been here before.
That's crazy, man.
I know.
We've been friends with you for years. How have you never
crazy.
made it here before?
No.
You're not that far away either.
No, about a half hour. Not bad.
I blame Stephanie. She's a very rude host.
It is her
for
fault.
not
It is.
inviting you sooner.
I
Steph
wasn't
invites
going
me
to
every
say
week.
that.
Right. So I think
Well,
you're
I'm not
she
that
invites
bad.
you. She doesn't invite Cody. That's you giving away all the secrets. But tonight is the Bridgewater Triangle episode of Spooky South Coast, where we have teams out in the field. Are you coming through all right? My levels look kind of down. Sound good on your end, Matt? That's all that matters. As if it looks good for you, then it's good for everybody else. I'm just looking at the VU meter here, and it doesn't seem like I'm very loud. But we have teams out in the field. They are already out and investigating. They are already out there and checking out what is to be found in various locations. And we're going to be checking in with them. There's some different technology this year, hopefully. Some of them might be having to call in the old-fashioned way via the telephone. But some of them will also be going Facebook Live. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, that's tonight's sponsor right there. For tonight's episode of Spooky South Coast, we decided to go out and try some of the Pukwudgie Pale Ale, the American Pale Ale from Down the Road Brewery. We've been wanting for a long time to try this. We've been trying to get Down the Road to send us some, but we hadn't been able to hook up with them. We've had communication with them, but we just haven't been able to figure it out when they can come into the studio and talk to us about this. But so I figured tonight I'd walk down to the liquor store, see if they had any, and they did. So we'll be enjoying Pukwudgie American Pale Ale during the show. And don't worry, we are not getting hammered on the air. It's responsible drinking for
We're adults. We know
potential
how to handle
sponsorship.
ourselves.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't like it.
About what? The way that it tastes?
Yeah.
Sure.
I smelled
all right,
it.
well, that's we'll take down Stephanie's microphone until we get the sponsorship.
That wasn't me that said that. I didn't say anything.
All
I
right.
said I smelt it. That's it. I haven't drank it yet.
It's good. It's really good. I'm not a overwhelming drinker. Like, I don't try a lot of different beers, but I like this one. So we do have teams out in the field. They will be joining us, and one of the ways they'll be joining us is through Facebook Live, which means we'll have video from out in the field, from out in various aspects of the Bridgewater Triangle, and we'll be able to bring them onto the screen with us.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know how Matt's going to do it, but he's going to work the magic where
He is magic.
I will connect with him over here via the Facebook Live, and we will bring them up on air, and he will have the video, and I will have the audio over here. One thing that I will say for any of the teams that are out there listening, if you missed my message to you earlier, we sent you some video messages in our private Facebook group for this event, and in that group we mentioned that how you can go live. So if you need a tutorial on that, you can watch the video. Watch the one with Matt and Cody because that has the most updated information. But also, we mentioned that we will be putting you through the radio. So it's not just going to be an online thing on YouTube, on Spooky TV, where you can kind of just say whatever you want. You will be going over the radio. So when you are going live or when you're calling in, just assume that you are live the entire time and that you need to use the responsible, appropriate language. That doesn't mean that I have to, but you have to.
That's not fair.
But we will... you know what, Stephanie? I got your message there. I think it's like password 1.
Okay.
We're not fancy.
Well, I'm already in, so we're good.
Okay. All right. We're not fancy.
No worries. I figured it out.
That's like our password, everything. Password 123. Is it a capital P? No, I don't know how to do that. So, by the way, did I ever tell you that I tried to log into Donald Trump's Twitter?
You did not.
I did.
And you thought that that would work?
I did. I tried like password 123. I tried like Ivanka and her birthday. I tried like a whole bunch of different combinations.
You know how bizarre you are.
I didn't want to cause any problems. I just wanted to tweet out that UFOs were real. That's all I was going to do.
The country would have went into major shutdown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, big news, UFOs, totally real. Disclosure. Here it is.
This is huge.
Deniers, sad.
I got some UFO news for you guys. Just saying.
Do
You
you?
do.
I do.
I'm not okay with that. Just
Well,
so you know.
Oh, okay, maybe I don't.
Well, we have somebody already calling in on the VIP line. Matt, do we have any indication as to who it might be?
Maybe Dave Francis.
I should probably
Maybe.
I should probably bring up the software that I have that allows me to see
That usually helps.
the number. I don't know if it works on that line though.
It should.
We shouldn't have given him the line that doesn't work on that.
Well, that just
No,
means
it
nobody
doesn't
else
work on
has
that
that
one.
line,
Doesn't
so we
work
don't have to
on that
worry
one.
about it.
Oh no, lots of people have this line.
Well, not pranker.
No, you don't have to. Don't worry about it. We'll just see who it is. Good evening. You're on
Hello.
Spooky South Coast. Who are we talking to?
It's Chris. I'm calling in from the Oliver House.
Hey, how's it going, Chris? So
Really strange things are happening tonight.
nice. Yeah, I know you guys are running an event, so we won't take up too much of your time. But I'm glad that you guys could check in. So you
Yeah.
guys are in the Oliver House in Middleborough.
Yep.
And before I get into what happened last week, let me ask you what kind of strange things are happening tonight.
Well, we have Paul here with his 3D mapping,
Oh yeah.
and we're down in the basement, we've actually picked up 3 entities under the stairs. So we have that going on. We've been actually thinking we're communicating with Earl Sprout about the floor in the parlor, and not too pleased with us, but as long as we promise to leave the floor alone, he's not going to get upset anymore. So take it for what it's worth.
Last week, I was there for a novice night as a guest investigator, and we were in the basement, and we were having all kinds of shadow activity. What I did is I had everybody go downstairs that was interested and turn off all the lights, turn off all the devices. I didn't even want somebody to have a flashlight on. Like total pitch blackness. And then we would sit there and wait. And, as you know, Chris, after a couple of minutes, your eyes start to adjust and you can see if there's anything kind of moving around in the darkness. And we had something that was kind of doing the same thing, hiding under the stairs. And we had some figures that were walking by when you're in the back corner of the basement. And say you're the complete opposite end, directly diagonally across, say, from the bulkhead.
Yeah.
So we were standing all there, and we could see figures blocking out the cellar windows on that wall from the inside. And
Yeah, well, not only did we 3D map 3 different figures, but we're also picking up shadow figures on the 3D mapping.
that's pretty awesome. We went into the Underground Railroad area of the basement there, the little crawl space area, and we had something that was definitely back there with us. And if you're in that area and you're looking through the brick wall that's kind of broken down a little bit, you can see the lights from the Verizon box. And something was actually walking through and blocking out those lights from the Verizon box, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one corner I will not go into.
Oh, well, we were there for about a half an hour.
Yeah, I
agree.
I've been in that corner a few times, and every time I get the same result. And I'm just taking it as a sign that I shouldn't be in that corner.
Well, I haven't told anybody here on the panel here tonight what happened last week. I'm sure you've heard by now what happened last Saturday night.
I've heard from multiple sources. I'm kind of ticked off that I missed it.
So we're at the end of the night. All the guests for the novice night had left, and it's just the investigators, the volunteers, all staying behind, and we were all kind of just sitting in that front room talking, when all of a sudden we heard multiple crashes from another room. Like it was like smash and then smash, 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 smash. It wasn't like all at once. It was like something broke and then knocked something else off and then knocked something else. It was like a repetitive breaking sound. And I thought that I didn't realize that Paul was sitting next to me. I thought he had actually gone to go pack up some of the stuff, and I was afraid he had dropped like a laptop or something. So I went in there, and Christy went in there, and everybody all goes running into that room. There was a picture that had been hung on the wall that had come off the wall and smashed, and it also smashed a couple of pieces of pottery. But it should have been like, we're trying to figure out how did it smash in multiple bursts like that instead of just everything coming off all at once. The picture should have came down, taken the other stuff off, and it all should have hit. But it was like a rolling multiple crash. And what's interesting is Len and I started investigating how it could have come off the wall because, you know, if they're going to put another picture on that wall, we want to say, hey, well, don't put a picture there because it fell off. But what's funny is there was no vibration. Nobody was walking on the stairs. There should have been no reason why at that particular moment this picture came off the wall. And when we looked at the screw that it had been resting on, the screw was at like maybe like a 30-degree angle. So it was pointing in an upward direction. And then on the back of the picture, it had a sawtooth clasp to go over wherever you're going to picture it. You know, like most pictures have those sawtooth. And so it was actually sawtoothed onto the back of that. And when we looked at the screw itself, the walls are painted white. And when the walls were painted white, somebody had painted over that screw. And when we looked at the screw, it was scraped off where the paint would have been from that sawtooth. So we're wondering if it's possible that when they put the picture onto the screw, it might have taken some of the paint off. But also, I mean, it looked like this thing was picked up with force off that wall. Like something just came and said, I don't want this here, and batted it off the wall. And it was just very strange.
The picture's hanging up again.
The same picture?
Yeah.
Without any glass?
No glass.
And it hasn't.
We hung it up again tonight. So we'll see. It's still on the wall right now, but it's not the end of the night.
Right. That's what was funny is it was the end of the night when nobody was in any other part of the house. And then, of course, you know, as we're packing up and getting ready to leave, the house just came alive with all kinds of activity going all over the place.
Yeah, Mark Alvila can back that one up because when his group was here, the house came alive at the end of the night.
It's almost like they didn't want us to leave last week. We literally stood outside for hours, just like looking at the house and talking and having weird things go on.
You want to talk to Christy?
Yep, we'll just talk to her for a couple minutes, sure.
Okay, here she is.
Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
We are doing well. How are you doing? Did you recover from last week now?
Heck no.
Well, we were just talking about that.
I'm going to need a lot of therapy. A lot of therapy after that, I think.
we were talking about what had happened, and I was mentioning that things started to come kind of alive after that, too. Like, we had a lot of activity going on when we were upstairs chasing something around.
Yeah, and that's kind of a typical night at the Oliver house. I mean, granted, maybe not all the crashing and the breaking, but definitely once we start to lock it down at night, you can kind of feel it building towards the end of the evening, and you kind of just know that you're going to start to hear them walking around, hear them talking, hear them making their presence known a little bit stronger.
So you guys have a night going on tonight for experienced investigators. Who's over there? Some people that we know, I assume.
No.
Well, you're there. We know you.
We call it a pro night because it is a 6-hour investigation. But I mean, literally, it's from the non-skilled to people who've done it. But it's just kind of a mix of people, and that's what's beautiful about it because we're coming together and just experiencing the house for what she's worth.
Well, and people will get their chance to do that coming up on November 4th when we have our Spooky South Coast Presents Mysterious Middleborough event. You'll be able to investigate the Oliver House as well as the Middleborough Town Hall and the Mayflower Masonic Lodge all in one night.
Oh, wow, that's a big event.
Absolutely. We just investigated the town hall the other night on a Tuesday night for about 3 hours, and I can tell you, it's an absolutely fascinating building. And I know Stephanie's been there, and I think you went down into the basement, if I'm not mistaken, and was able to have kind of an interesting experience at the town hall. So
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Everybody who actually comes out for that event, they've really got 3 enjoyable locations to be able to experience throughout the evening. It's really a great event. It really is going to be a great event.
And people can get their tickets now by going to SpookySouthCoast.com. Don't wait because it's only a few weeks away and tickets will start to go fast. So, well, keep us up to date. If anything major goes on, give us a buzz back.
Absolutely. We have had some activity here tonight. It's been kind of light, but it does start to feel like it's about to kind of ramp up a little bit. I can kind of feel it coming.
Well, you felt it coming last week. You kept saying it last week that it was going to happen, so...
I feel it. I mean, it's almost like the house becomes enclosed in this big bubble, if that makes any sense.
No, that
and
makes sense
it starts
perfectly.
to get super quiet, and that's about the time when things are about to break loose, and they're really going to show us what they got.
And what's funny is a few nights after I was there with you last week, I actually had a dream where, and I've never been in the back area of the house. I've only been there at a time when I couldn't go wander around the back. But in this dream, I was wandering around the back and I was looking for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means.
Well, that wouldn't be too far from the truth, because the very night that you were here, we had a private group that had come through before the Novice Night event, and Julie and I took them back into the forest. We had our walkies, and so we could stay in contact with everybody, but for whatever reason, once we got back into the woods, our walkies, we could hear people from the house calling us, but we couldn't return the call.
Very weird.
So it was kind of blocking us being able to communicate between the house and the woods, which is really odd, because we've never really had that happen before, especially with the walkies. So that was kind of an interesting thing that happened that night.
Well, like I said, people can come and check it out for themselves. November 4th, Spooky South Coast presents Mysterious Middleborough. Get your tickets now at SpookySouthCoast.com. All right. Well, thank you, Christy, for checking in, and we will talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Have a great night.
Bye.
And be safe. And
oh, sure.
And we have some folks that are out and around. We just want to let people kind of give people a rundown of where some people are. We have the Fearsome Foursome that are out in Wan Rock. Scott, Anna, Leo, and Nick. We have Paranormal Expeditions out in the Hockomock Swamp. We have Matt, Rachel, and Jessica out there. We have DLH Paranormal out in the Rehoboth Village Cemetery. Deb, Laura, Heather, Cynthia, and their friend Vinny as well. And we have Team Cannoli out and around Assawampset Pond in Lakeville. Mark Colacusis, Christina Ottman, Brandy, Kim. They're all out there with Dave. So,
Right.
And the Cannolis.
And just personally, I feel like Team Cannoli should be in here tonight. Because if they have cannolis, I might cry.
Right? I have to agree with you, because
Right? So, Team Cannolis, if you can hear us, come in studio with those cannolis.
And so if you are out there and you didn't hear me announce who you are and where you are, then reach out to us on Spooky South Coast's Facebook page and in the group, because we need to make sure that we are connecting with you. And I've been checking this out now. So the way that we've set this up, Matt, you were saying, is that I can go in and I can see when people have gone live. And we've had a bunch of videos that have gone live already. People have already been going live on the Spooky South Coast page. So if you're just the average person at home and you don't have the access like we have to the video library, Matt, they can just go to the Spooky South Coast page and click on videos, and they'll see all the videos of people having gone live. So if you need to do so, if you feel the need to go and catch up to what everybody's had going on, you can do that during the show. We will also be incorporating some of them. I'm just, you know that this was going to happen. You knew that because we were depending on this computer. It got super slow.
Can we put a reminder out there to anybody that is listening that everybody that is out ghost hunting with us tonight has pre-registered with us and has checked in with us and has checked in with local authorities as well to let them know what their intentions are and their whereabouts. So please do not go out into the field tonight and say that you are with us unless you've already checked in with us.
Good point, because it has happened before.
Correct. And
we've had people use this as their excuse to go act like a-holes out in the Bridgewater Triangle. And there's certain areas that people will tell us, oh, we want to go here. We'll say, no, don't go there.
No, because it's not safe.
Not a good place to go. Not a good idea.
Please do not go anywhere alone.
Law enforcement doesn't want you to go there.
Correct.
Right. That's the other thing too, is when we have people that want to go and they're just a party of one, we find a way to team them up. Like, for example, we have Nick, who's on his very first paranormal investigation with Scott and Anna and Leo, and he's never done this before, and he said he wanted to take part, but he had no experience. I said, we will find you somebody that has experience. And I said, who better to put you with than Scott, because he's got a ton of experience, and Anna, and
they're both so nice and welcoming too.
So I figured that's a perfect way to introduce people sometimes. We've had so many people that have gone out with groups for this that have kind of formed the Team Cannoli. They all came together doing this investigation show. So it does work out pretty well. So Matt, how will this work though if I want to run a video that's somebody's already done? Just play it. You'll catch up with it over there on the video end.
Just tell me which one.
So I'm thinking I wanted to kind of just try and check in with some different ones. So we have one from. Let's go with these short ones. So let's go to the Wan Rock, Spooky Triangle, Wan Rock.
It says their name in the other.
The one that Nick posted. It's the. Hold on, I can move that. No, I can't move that box. Wait a second. It's the second one down in the list of videos. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna both hit play at the same time.
Yep.
All right. This
is fun.
Hold on, because I haven't turned down. Wait a minute. I haven't turned down my YouTube.
It's a big old experiment.
We're gonna get in a loop if I don't do this right. Okay. Hold on now. Ready? I gotta find that tab. I have like 35 tabs open. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, play.
I was working at the cars.
So this is the Friday Foursome?
Frightened
Foursome at Wan Rock. We're here. It's dark. It's foggy. We're terrified. A lot of crickets. We're playing Native American music to see if that'll get a response. Leo said he heard something hum, but I didn't hear that.
We didn't go around.
We also didn't go around to hear it. So I'll take his word. Maybe something happened. So Wan Rock is the site of where they captured
King Anawan, so it's the very tail end of the war.
Of the King John's War, right?
King
Philip's War. I got my war score up.
This is also the spot where King Philip was shot and killed like a month before.
So a lot of activity is reported from what I've read online and the history of the place. It's full of things that go bump in the night. So nothing's really happening right now, but we'll see what happens more. See if this Native American music, anything comes up from. But this is Nick, signing off.
All right, so that was Nick and Anna and Scott and Leo. They're out there at Wan Rock. The Fearsome Foursome, is that what they were? The Frightened Foursome? I don't know. I don't remember which one they said was their name.
That was a pretty cool idea to play the Native American music, almost like a trigger object.
I like that.
Yeah, the people are pretty innovative with some of the stuff they do on this, especially because you know that the show is only on from like 10 to 12, so there's a need to really kind of get things going pretty quickly. That's why we usually tell teams, like when teams say, hey, when does the show start? Well, the show starts at 10. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier. We started a little bit earlier tonight. But really, ideally, you want to get out there a couple of hours before we're going to go live so that you have a chance to get used to the surroundings, to have an idea if you're going to have a signal. Like, the worst thing to do is to be there at 10 o'clock and we want to connect live with you for the first time at 10:15, and the first person that we're going to try, their phone doesn't connect with Facebook Live or get a signal or anything. So that's why we tell the teams to get out there a little bit early and see what's going on. So and I'm looking at this, Matt. We get to see the statistics for the videos, and that video, for example, the one that we just used, has already been seen by 34 people. So people are already going into the Spooky South Coast page and watching these videos. So now I don't want to put you on the spot here on the air, but will we be taking these videos and kind of editing them into something for YouTube, or do we want to just keep directing people to the Facebook page to see them? I think we can direct people to the Facebook page.
Okay.
I think that's kind of the best way to do it, so that, you know, even as you're watching this and you're watching this later on YouTube and you're saying to yourself, gee, I'd really like to go see those videos, just go to the Spooky South Coast Facebook page, give us a like if you haven't already, and then while you're there, you can see all these great videos from people out in the field. And I think part of this too, Matt, part of the advantage of using this Facebook Live technology is the teams can post when they have a signal. And when they are in a good spot in the investigation and geographically to be able to post, instead of like us calling them and be like, are you ready? Because we're going to go live with you, so you better go find somewhere where you get a signal.
Get on top of a rock.
Yeah, this way here, it's still live-ish, but like this stuff is happening as we're speaking. But at the same time, it gives people a little bit more freedom in their investigation as well, because that's the hardest thing about doing the show, is that a real investigation is kind of hampered by the fact that you have to keep checking back in with what's going on with us. So, for example, you know, Paranormal Expeditions is out in the Hockomock Swamp. If they're out there in the swamp, then there's a good chance that they might hit a dead spot where they're not going to get any signal whatsoever. And now all of a sudden somebody might be like, well, I'm going to go walk a half a mile back so I can get a signal. And now somebody's by themselves.
Right, because as everyone here knows, when you investigate the paranormal, there are hours where nothing happens.
Right.
Yep.
So.
And those hours could happen quite often during the Bridgewater Triangle investigation show.
Right.
But I do think that you know, just seeing what people are doing already, they're jumping right in. You know, they're jumping right in. There's one here from Paranormal Expeditions talking about millimeter spikes already happening. So, and they've only been out there for a little while, out in the Hockomock Swamp. So they're already having stuff. You want to run that one, Matt?
Which one's that?
Matt's third from the top. So we'll. So we don't have to cue it. We don't have to say 3, 2, 1, go. Can I do it anyway? Can I say 3, 2, 1, triangle? All right, here we go. Ready? Because the place, the little place symbol is a triangle.
Of course,
you're
it
getting
is.
fancy.
Huh?
You said we weren't
Huh?
fancy earlier. Now look at us. We're super fancy.
So here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1, triangle.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I know I said we weren't going to go live very often. We were just going live from our Facebook page to, how's that? Ooh, that's eerie. We were live from our Facebook page, just kind of documenting our walk into the Hockomock Swamp here in West Bridgewater, that side. And we've not made it, 50, 100 feet from where we parked. And we've been having all kinds of crazy spikes with the millimeter. Flat baseline of 0,
Right
and
up to
then
0.9.
right to a 0.9. There's no power lines out here, just a ton of insects cricketing and creaking and all that good stuff. But I figured we would join you on this page for a few minutes, and you guys can follow along on our walkthrough, and we'll keep an eye and see what's going on. You won't have to look at my face any longer. I'm going to switch it around. As you can see, it's pretty much as dark as it gets out here. Just going to turn the old headlamp. No, just turn it off. All right, so we're going to go back on the voyage. Did you get that going, Kay?
Did you put this on?
All right, so it's at a 0.9. So Jess, yep, see, it just went up a tick. Nothing crazy, a tick. Now it's still moving. So as we walk, do you guys want to walk in front of me, or do you want me to lead the way?
We'll go first.
Yeah, lead so I can film you.
The girls are scared. I don't know if they're scared. Yeah, Rachel's pretending she's not scared. They just like to look at my butt. Shut up about spiders. So we're on this this trail. Look what we found.
Power lines, anything?
There's the power lines. There's the source of the hiss. Hey, guess what we just did? We debunked it. That's some professional stuff right there.
Watch the ground, guys.
Hey guys, we are out in the Hockomock Swamp in the epicenter of the Bridgewater Triangle. We just started our walk in. Oh yeah, you can hear the power line humming now if you can kind of see it.
Now we got 2.1. Let me see. Let's see the millimeter. This is how you debunk. Like I'm on the
Really? Because it's
okay.
it's
Now
way
here it
down.
goes. Here it goes.
There it goes.
And then what's behind it though? Show 'em.
What's behind it?
Huge power line. Is there enough?
It's the power lines.
Is there enough light for them to see it?
That's the telephone pole. I know it's hard to see. You might be able to hear it. Now, one thing I get kind of yelled at for is I talk a lot when we go Facebook Live, but if I'm talking too much, you guys just tell me to be quiet so you can hear the background noise. Honestly, all you're going to hear right now is the humming of that electricity and the crickets. And God knows what else is out here. Bear, who knows. We're hoping to see some cryptid type of stuff tonight.
Something that mowed a path across or something?
This is probably part of that farmland. Well, this is the Division of Wildlife and Fisheries. They keep this open.
And
So
so
I'm
I
assuming
was
when we go
saying
right
to
here.
Matt while we potted down our mics to listen to the video that part of the advantage of this is like we're gonna this is a 5.5 minute video, so we're not gonna play the whole thing for you, but we're gonna give you a taste of what's going on. And now that you're listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube, a little bit later on, if you're not with us live, now you can just go right over to the Facebook page and see these live videos. So the whole thing will be there for you in its entirety. So I think that I like this. I think this is pretty revolutionary, Matt. You found a way to revolutionize something 12 years into doing it.
See, you're fancy.
This is way better than the year that we did Periscope.
Well, that's the thing is like each year there's something new that people are trying. So each year we're able to incorporate something a little bit better. And one of the things that we've always wanted to do was to make it more visual.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we tried the Periscope experiment, because we wanted, it's one thing for people to call in and tell us what's going on, but even then that's like your friend calling you
right.
and being like, you're never going to believe what happened to me. It's not nearly as cool as actually if you said, hey, look at this video of what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this way here you get to actually see what's going on out there at the same time. And I think that that's an important component to what this is all about, because if you're not from around here and you've never been to the Bridgewater Triangle, you've just heard stories about it, you're getting a visual idea of what it's like to be out there in the dark, what it's like to be out there, maybe trying to find something cryptid or trying to find, evidence of UFOs or walking around and chasing down some of these ghost stories that we've heard. So it's a pretty special thing to be able to have people from around the world kind of tag along with you on your investigation. And I know that people are using Facebook Live more and more when they're out there anyway. I mean, I'm sure you guys, I've seen when you were out there doing stuff, you post some videos up, and we're finding a way to incorporate it in what we're doing where it hasn't really become distracting.
Yeah.
Where it was at first, because at first it was always like, Stephanie and I did it from events before. Hi, it's Tim and Stephanie, we're live. You got to kind of set the scene and pull yourself away from what everything's going on.
Right.
But now people are getting so used to the idea of Facebook Live that you can just literally just go live from where you are and not have to explain to anybody where you are, and people will just tune in and watch. I mean, I did that last night at wrestling. I just turned it on, put the camera out, and people were like, oh, well, it's a wrestling match. We can just watch for a few minutes.
That's what I do with you with the news in the morning.
Right, yeah.
And you say hi to me and I wave to you like you can see me through
That's
the
what I do when I'm actually reading the news. I have to like wave because I can't acknowledge people. So I'm like, and then today the New Bedford Police Department issued a board, and over there waving like a fool.
But there's me in Connecticut like this.
Yeah, she's waving back to the phone. But it's okay. I know that you are. So even though I can't see it, I know that you are, and I appreciate it.
The love is there.
One of the other things about doing, having incorporation of live things with investigations is it does give you extra pairs of eyes with what's going on. So, I mean, there's been time, if you remember the old Ghost Hunters live Halloween episodes, there was, I think it was just 1 year that they did it, but there was 1 year where they were interactive with the audience, where people could actually say what they were seeing. And then Ghost Adventures did it with their live Halloween when they did. And people in the audience were saying like, no, go back here. I think I saw something over there. And it actually lets the viewers be part of what's going on from their own perspective of being like, I feel like I'm part of this, but also it helps you out by bringing somebody else in there that can keep an eye open for things. And I can tell you, there was 8 episodes of Haunted Towns, and out of 7 of those episodes, I probably got people sending me messages saying, hey, go back and watch this episode, and at this moment, look for this.
Yep.
Or listen for this. So I think the viewers are becoming kind of attuned to what's going on a little bit, and it helps out.
They're more into it.
Right.
And that's it. They can feel like they're part of it more, like this. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I'm sure the groups will be like, "Hey, you didn't check in with us nearly enough," but no, it's because we're picking up your videos, man. We don't need to check in with you. You're all over the place. I know that it's been a hassle for people a lot of the times, especially because they're going to these remote spots to be able to check in with us. But now they can put it up there for all of time, save it for posterity. So again, we have the Fearsome Foursome out at Wan Rock. We have Paranormal Expeditions out at the Hockomock Swamp. We have DLH Paranormal out at Rehoboth Village Cemetery. And we have Team Cannoli at Tamarack Park and Assawamsett Pond. And Assawamsett Pond is a place that I want to talk a little bit about because it's tied very much into Native American lore. It's tied very much into some of the mysteries of the Bridgewater Triangle. And it actually borders Middleborough. So when we're doing our Mysterious Middleborough event in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, I don't know, in a couple weeks, we're actually going to be a stone's throw away from Assawamsett Park. And this is a huge area. Speaking of our drink for the evening, Pukwudgie American Pale Ale from down the road Brewery. It's hold on, let me just do the commercial plug.
I can't.
So when a lot of the Pukwudgie legends come from around Assawamsett Park and Assawamsett Pond. That pond is where Moshop, who was the creator god of the Wampanoag people, that's where he lived, and he was a giant, and the Pukwudgies in the beginning were these benevolent little creatures that were fun and helpful, and they were big, like Smurfs. I don't know,
like Smurfs.
I don't know what to compare them to, but they were like these benevolent creatures, and then one day they turned on Moshop and they killed him. They took him out into Assawamsett Pond and they dragged him under and they killed him. So all these little creatures killed this great big creator god, this giant, and that led to them turning evil, and that's where all these stories come about them being these negative evil entities. And that's also where they found the frozen body of John Sassamon that led to King Philip's War. So that was a very instrumental site for the whole beginning of that. So that's one of those spots where, like I said, we're only going to be a couple miles away from it during Mysterious Middleborough. That's going to play into things, I think. And I think when we're out there talking about the Bridgewater Triangle, we're talking about King Philip's War, that's certainly going to have an effect on it. Speaking of which, let's see if anybody's checked in from there. Again, with my slow loading browser over here, but I don't see anybody going live from there yet. But I think Dave was saying he probably had to call in. They didn't think anybody could go live from there, Matt. Was that the case?
He did go live. There's a video of him.
Oh, there it is. I didn't see it because he didn't put a description on the video. So let's queue up that one. We can probably play this one in its entirety as long as Dave doesn't say any bad words. Okay, let me know when you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Triangle.
I'll do like a spooky look with the flashlight under my face. Hold on. I'm old. I can't even work my flashlight.
There you go.
And maybe if I had the camera facing the right way. Oh, there I am. Hey, everybody. This is Team Cannoli. I guess it's Team Cannoli, isn't it? And we're on the foggy, dark shores of Assawamsett Pond.
I can tell Brandy and
Lakeville.
Chrissy's laugh any day.
And it's hot. It is really warm for this time of year. I'm here with, say your name.
Mark Holocusis.
Kimberly Carnero. Randy Bonita.
Oh, sorry.
Chrissy Allman.
Yeah, I had them say them because I can't remember their names half the time anymore. I'm getting old. Yeah, we're going to sit here. We were here 2 years ago for the show, and had some weird light sightings, and you guys were playing around with the app.
Why we're here.
Oh, the history? Yes. King Philip's War. Before the war, an Indian that was a sympathizer, I guess, with the English, and the Indians thought that he was giving them information on movement and stuff like that, and what was going on with the different tribes kind of starting to get together. They killed him on the ice at Assawamsett Pond. I think it was 1675 they killed him, and tried to get rid of the body through the ice, but they found the body. and they arrested 3 Indians. They went on trial and were executed. And that was one of the, the precursors that really kind of pushed things ahead when the war got moving. So, we're down here at Tamarack Park, like I said, and it is hot and sticky. And we're going to keep an eye on the pond, but it's getting kind of foggy over there now. It was nice when I first got here. And see if we can see some of the things we saw the last time. There was myself and Kim had seen some lights off in the swamp towards the back of the pond. Now, if you're ever out here, there are some towers that you can see over by Long Pond at the back, and we could see those through the trees, but these lights were a lot closer and in the woods kind of down below us, and they were moving through the trees. We were standing there watching them move, and it was kind of neat. So just to see if we...
So it looks like Dave's video cut out a little bit there, but that's all right. That was some good stuff there. You got the Team Cannoli plug-in that had everybody laughing. So that is... As Dave was saying, that's an area where you definitely get a creepy feeling out there.
I don't know if I've ever been out there.
If you go to, I know they go to Tamarack Park.
Yep.
But if you go to, if you're coming off, well, you would probably come the other way because you live on this side of things. I live on the Wareham side. But basically, if you go down 105, there's a school there called Assawamsett Elementary School.
Right.
And it has a nice little playground there. They just rebuilt a couple years ago. And if you park there and you park in the back parking lot of the school and you just walk down this little path, you're right on Assawamsett Pond.
Okay.
So, and there's not a lot of there's not a whole lot of areas where you can walk for a great deal of time. But if you are coming down 18 toward 105,
yep,
coming from the New Bedford way, and you drive through all the water, and you get to that part where the road is there's water on both sides of you, that's Assawamsett Pond.
Okay.
So that's the big body of water right there.
I know what you're talking about now.
So and I'm sure that you picked up going by that, you probably picked up some weird feelings from it.
I can't begin to tell you how much I hate driving through there. I have said for years, and anybody that has ever driven that road with me or been in the car with me or even spoken to me about that, I have said that I absolutely hate driving through there. I cannot stand it. I wish I could close my eyes while driving through there, but it's so windy and you have water on both sides that it's terrifying. I hate it, and I never knew why I hated it so much. So thank you for clarifying that. Now I have a whole new perspective.
Well, it's absolutely strange out there, that's for sure. And if you've never been out there and you want to check it out for yourself, like I said, there's spots where you can kind of park and walk around, but they are very protective of the pond. So, don't be surprised if somebody's going to come up and ask you. I'm talking about, taking a walk during the daytime.
Yep.
So don't be surprised if somebody comes up and just kind of asks you what you're doing. I went down there to take some photos for my book, Ghosts of the South Coast. And it was myself and my son and my brother and my sister-in-law, and we were all just walking. And when we came back up from the pond, we came back up from the pond to the parking lot, there were already people that were like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" So it doesn't take much. They are very protective of their natural resources.
I had no idea that's where that was this entire time.
I think too that the other part about it is, I don't think they boat on that water. So you
really?
you can ride around on that water on a boat. So it's not like it's drinking water or anything, but they are super aware of who is out there and who's on the water all the time because it can get dangerous. So it's just this big giant body of water. So check it out if you ever want to go and take a nice walk, a nice nature walk. There's lots of great areas. You can go out toward that direction. For those of you who are local, if you are going down 18, you'll come across the Royal Wampanoag Cemetery, which is a great spot to stop and kind of take a little walk around and reflect and see the graves of some of the Native Americans that are there. Have you ever been out there, Cody? I know that it's not that far, but there's all kinds of small family plot cemeteries around the Lakeville and the Middleborough area, because I guess in the early days, how you'd be buried in the churchyard. I don't know if it was a matter of maybe they didn't have a church that was close by. Maybe they had to travel to go to church or what have you, and they wanted to keep their loved ones closer. Whatever the reason is, there's a lot of family plots, which there used to be a lot of them everywhere. But in Lakeville and Middleborough area, a lot of them have stuck around. So you will see, you'll drive by the Clark Horr Cemetery, Horr. The Clark Horr might be Horr, but the Clark Horr, I think that's it. But those were two families that live nearby, and that was their family plots that they were using. So, and people have maintained them, and they preserved them, and they've lovingly dedicated time to making sure that they stay looking good and staying clean, and people go and visit. So it's worth taking a drive down, especially if you just like old cemeteries. You know, I do. I don't know if I don't know if that makes me weird, but
someone else does too, because they hung up the phone on me and went and hung out in a cemetery for like 10 minutes and then didn't call me back.
I think that's you.
Yeah. Just
Sorry.
She says next time you don't call me back, you're gonna end up in one of those cemeteries.
Right.
Well, I didn't want to put that out on the air, but now everyone knows my secret, so.
Well, now that's premeditation now, so you can't do it.
No one talks back to me there.
Nah, see? He got you.
I just don't answer.
All right, so why don't we try? I see that DLH Paranormal has posted a video. They were out there trying some experiments out at Rehoboth Village Cemetery in Rehoboth. And this isn't one of those spots that you can go all... I mean, a lot of this Bridgewater Triangle stuff, these ghost stories, as much as we say Lauren Coleman started chronicling the Bridgewater Triangle in the late 70s and the early 80s, and he coined the term the Bridgewater Triangle, the ghost stories, because Lauren focused a lot on the UFO stuff, the cryptids, some of the weird mental illness facets of it. There's a lot of things that he focused on that didn't include ghosts. And it was a later book called The New England Ghost Files that actually really started focusing on the ghost stories. And Rehoboth was a big part of that book, and the Rehoboth Village Cemetery was part of that. So we'll check this video from DLH Paranormal. We have Deb, Laura, Vinny, Heather, Cynthia all out there. So we will check this video, and 3, 2, 1, triangle.
So, hey everyone, DLH, Heather, Laura.
Hi.
We have our friend Vinny with us, and Cindy.
Hello.
We just arrived a little while ago. We got lost because the fog was horrendous. It was pitch black. There goes the K2 meter again every time we get near that grave. We just found a flag on the ground.
See? So
and
this is it.
Cindy was like, oh no, we need to find out where it goes. And she had it in her hand. We were looking for the grave. And as we got close to this one, as you can see, the K2 meter goes crazy right over here.
Make sure you're holding the phone back enough. So
And the phone is not anywhere near it. So we know it's not the phone that's been setting it off.
Yeah.
But we just thought that was really cool that we would use the K2 meter to find out where the flag went. So it was kind of cool.
What is this?
My ovulus is going off. Give me 1 second, guys. I got it in my pocket. I'm carrying a million things at once here. Video. Yes, we're doing video.
Oh my god. It is awesome.
Video.
Ooh, is this your flag?
Well, that was my fault. I clicked out of the video window. But you can check out the rest of the video on the Spooky South Coast Facebook page. So further reference, if I go to click out of that screen when the video is playing, I can't do it. Lesson learned. Hey, I want to throw out a birthday shout out. And it's not quite his birthday yet. It won't be until tomorrow, but I know that he's watching the show live. A very rare opportunity for him to get to watch the show live. Normally he catches it after the fact, but he's been a long time listener, and I'm proud to see that he has taken his interest in this show and the subjects that we talk about and now parlayed that into he's an actual paranormal investigator now. And he's been going out. That's probably why he doesn't get to catch the show live now, because he's always busy on Saturday nights. But happy birthday to one of our biggest and longest and oldest fans, Ray J. So we would have had a cake for you, but
we had beer instead.
We had beer instead, which is just as good. We would have had cannolis, but we sent them out into the field.
We did, and they don't even have cannolis with them.
What?
I know.
How did that happen?
How are you team cannolis without cannolis?
Well, they have that other name that Mark always pushes. The Pitwaka name, whatever. It was like, I think it was all their initials or something. I forget what it was. And like Mark just can't let go of the fact that, that's not the name anymore, man. They went with the cannolis. When you become known for something, that just becomes your nickname, Like when you give somebody a nickname and it sticks, that's got to stay. I know that because I used to always nickname people. Some of them were good. Most of them were terrible. You remember that, Matt?
I have my nickname tattooed to my ankle.
Do we want to ask what it is?
It's UJF. That's what my dad calls me. He's called me that forever.
Just the initials?
Yep, UJF.
He doesn't pronounce it as a word?
Oh, it's Ursula J. Flockmartin. So everywhere I go, I sign UJF.
Okay.
So I have tattooed with his handwriting. UJF.
We had a tattoo discussion not that long ago on Spooky South Coast. Well, actually, just the last time we had a show, we had a discussion about tattoos. We talked with a local guy who has a tattoo that he says was put on him by aliens after he was abducted from his home in Acushnet. But we talked about a few weeks before that. We talked about what tattoos the Spooky South Coast crew has. And
I have that one and a music note.
we had people guess which one of us doesn't have a tattoo. Can
Yes.
you guess which one of us doesn't have a tattoo?
You.
That's me.
Because he's got one on his hand.
Yeah, you can see that one.
She's got one.
I'm gonna leave.
I have more than one.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
I just know
when
you have one. And
She's like, I only know that one that you showed me that time.
Well, she took my picture, so she saw the one on my foot, but
yeah,
it's not the only one.
I don't just go looking up people and be like, yo, show me your tattoos.
No, she talked about it. It got really uncomfortable.
What?
Because she was here, and John Brightman, who was putting tattoos on her, was talking about it, so it got really uncomfortable.
He only did one of mine.
So far.
Mm.
You have that look in your face like, gotta go get that Wraith Nation tattoo now, that TWC
What is
logo.
wrong with you?
No, did you see one of their fans got a nice
Yes,
tattoo? It
a
looked
lot of
really
their
good.
fans do that.
Looked really good.
But yes, no,
I don't think-
there will be none of that in my future.
I don't think
thank
I
you.
will be doing that. I didn't even get my own logo tattooed on me.
You have more of a reason to do it than I do.
I think that I'd have to have my own logo before I had somebody else's. It would only be right.
Well,
So-
you need a logo.
We should like.
No,
make
Spooky
a-
South Coast
Oh,
logo.
okay.
We should do like a petition and make everyone sign it, and then you get so many signatures and you get a tattoo.
You need to get a tattoo. What's
Come
wrong with
on,
you?
I don't need to get a tattoo. I'm not going to give in to your peer pressure.
Join the club.
Right.
No, there's no reason for me to get a tattoo. I
Why?
haven't
Cool
found
gift.
anything that I want
You don't have one either?
permanently
What
on
is
my
wrong
body.
with you?
See, yeah, right.
But he has plans. He has plans too.
Okay, all right.
I get really angry when people.
Yeah, so did I when I was like 17. I was like, I can't wait till I'm 18 and I can go get a tattoo.
But you will. Exactly.
Why
Nelson.
wouldn't you want to?
It's art. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but the best thing about art is that I can interchange it and not have to look at the same thing all the time.
Well, I could interchange mine. I could scribble it out and get something different.
Listen, if I put a tattoo on my body, it's not for me to see. It's for other people to see because I don't look at myself nearly enough
I forget I have mine.
to make that
A lot.
happen.
Mine are hidden. So.
I did have one idea for a tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having beer burps. I have to keep backing away from the
Yeah.
microphone. But I did have one idea for one, and it would have worked. It would have fit in perfectly with tonight's episode, with the Bridgewater Triangle, because last year when we did our Bridgewater Triangle event, where we went to the West Bridgewater, the Old Bridgewater Historical Society, they brought out some historical artifacts, and one of the artifacts that they had was the original deed where Massasoit signed over the Bridgewater land to the colonists. And it had Massasoit's symbol that he signed with his own hand. So this was like the actual handwriting of Massasoit. And I thought that was so cool that I
That's
took a picture of it and I said, that is something that I would get tattooed on me. Massasoit's personal symbol. I don't know why I would want that, why I would
That's
feel a
cool.
connection, but I definitely would want it. And that's something that when you have that tattooed on you, people are like, what is that? Yeah, it's a good story. It's not just like, oh, one night I got drunk and my friends wanted to get tattoos. And I was like, oh, I'll just take a wizard.
None of my stories
Some
started out
people's
like that.
some people's stories are like that.
You know, not mine. Mine all
Some-
have meaning.
So I kind of feel like if you walk into a tattoo shop and you're picking something off the wall, you're doing it wrong.
Right. Agreed.
I like the butterfly.
Right.
Well, no, but that's a different story. If you're like, I have a connection to butterflies, I want to have a butterfly,
Right.
And you walk in, you're like, show me your butterfly designs, and they point one out. That's kind of all right. But when you're walking there and you're like, I think I want to get a tattoo, but I don't know what I want, and
Do you
you're just
have
like
any
walking
pictures?
around, like looking, like if you're buying tattoos the way I buy sneakers, like that's not the good way to do it. Like, like man, that'll go with everything that I have, and I won't look stupid if I have that one showing all the time. Like that's my biggest problem with buying sneakers. I'm like, I just want plain black.
Oh God, no! We gotta like get you out more colors.
No colors.
Get you some Chuck Taylors.
Oh no, no Chucks for me. No thanks.
Why?
Because when I put on shoes, I want to actually feel like I have shoes on, not like I just stuck my foot in a sleeping bag or something. And actually, a sleeping bag is more comfortable.
Oh my god.
My heart hurts so
Chucks
much right
are
now.
the worst.
My Chucks are in my car, I think.
I had like 12 pairs of them when I was a junior in high school. I went out. This is totally off topic of the Bridgewater Triangle. That's okay.
As usual.
I have triangles on my Chucks, so there you go.
So when I was a junior, there was a shoe outlet in Buzzards Bay. And what's funny is back then they used to have tons of Chucks, dirt cheap. Like a year after that, they would put them all on the shelf. Like by the time you were probably looking, not that you ever wore Chucks, Matt. I don't think I ever saw you in them. But, if you had gone there to look for them a couple years later, they would have been $70 on the shelf. But when I was getting them, there was a big giant basket of them in the front of the store, and they were $6 a pair. So I went in there and I bought like 12 different pairs. I bought all different colors because I'm like, if I wear a red shirt, I can wear red Chucks. If I wear a green shirt, I can wear green Chucks. So I got all these different colors, and I had the regular black, and I had the white and all that stuff. And I found that I wore the black more often, more than anything anyway. But I just hated the way that they felt. It's just like a piece of rubber with some canvas on the side. It didn't feel like I was wearing a shoe. It didn't feel like I had any kind of support on my feet. So I was like, these suck. So I bought all 12 of them right before school started, by junior year of high school. And by November of that year, I was like, I cannot wear these anymore. And I went and I bought Nikes, and I've never looked back.
I've never looked back.
These shoes that I have right now are the most comfortable sneakers I've ever had.
And they're Jordans.
It's like gentle caresses of my feet. I've had Jordans before, but these are like the first. All right, so I can't really afford to go out and buy Jordans. I bought some at the Salvation Army. These are like the first. These are the first brand new ones that I've ever had, and they are just the best. So now I think I'm spoiled. I think I can never wear any. And they're not like expensive Jordans. It's not like somebody's trying to collect these and put them on a shelf. I bought them at Marshall's across the street on clearance. But damn, if I had gone in there and they had 4 more of these same pair, I would have just bought them all. So that when these ones wore out, I'd have another one, and then when those wore out, because I get 4 or 5, 6 years out of a pair of sneakers.
Yep.
Because I'm frugal, because I don't care if they match anything. So
you have to match.
Yep.
They're black. They match everything. I don't have to worry about it.
Mostly everything.
I only wore these ones because these aren't even Chucks. These are, I don't know what these are, but because we went outside and I couldn't get my Chucks dirty, so.
I have definitely got my Chucks dirty, and I have to constantly clean them.
Madonna Diamond in the chat room remembers getting Chucks for $3.99.
Wow.
It's like
which is about what they're worth.
No.
No, really. Like the materials that they use, that's about what they're worth.
But it's made with love, Tim. You're missing the point.
Made by love, made with love by small Taiwanese children.
It's okay.
Working against their will.
They still love what they do.
They're like,
oh my god.
People ask that. They're like, who's Chuck Taylor? He's a Taiwanese slave master.
People are gonna hate
this
me.
This is terrible right now.
Yes, I prefer to have my sneakers named after people that I know firsthand.
So you know Michael Jordan?
Oh.
You like BFFs?
I have met Michael Jordan before. I'll tell you the story off the air because it's probably not that interesting to the listeners, but remind me after the show to tell you about the time that I met Michael Jordan.
Okay.
It's like the only time I turned into a blithering idiot while working a media assignment.
That's so funny.
Yes.
I prefer expensive heels over sneakers.
Oh, yes, she does, especially on photo shoots.
Oh my god.
In the freaking forest.
And I wasn't the one that fell.
No, I was one in Chucks who fell down the hill. Just
so see, Chucks are dangerous.
Sudan name asked the exact model of Chucks. I don't know.
Exact model of Jordans. You don't know.
Jordans, yeah, I don't know.
It usually says it on the box.
Oh boy.
Oh, here we go.
They look like
Ooh,
this.
They're high tops.
Oh, of course. I don't wear low tops. So these are them. They're it doesn't say what model they are on the shoe. I don't think. I think they're just very basic basic Jordans.
I will take a picture right now and tell you.
See, they got the Jordan symbol. They got the 23.
Hold on. They're riveting. This is riveting.
It is. It's great radio.
All right. I'll have an answer for you in 5.
Right.
I have connections.
What?
I won't take the time to put it back on during the show.
Google image it.
No.
All right. Should we get back into Bridgewater Triangle talk?
Nah. We can keep talking about shoes.
I mean, right now there's teams out in the dark in the woods by themselves, risking death.
Risking death. Hopefully they're not wearing Chucks.
Risking Eastern equine encephalitis, and they're out there and they're like, "This guy's talking about his shoes on the radio right now."
Ashley who comes in and talks about shoes all day long.
Do you have whoever has first EVP of the night.
We do
Yeah.
in the videos.
Yep, we
I'm
do.
refreshing. Hang on, I'm getting there.
I'm busy trying to figure out what kind of shoes you're wearing.
Obelisk session, EVP night.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. First EVP of the night. Oh, which one? Which one do you want to do? First EVP of the night. Let's do first EVP of the night because it's a short one. So we'll do that one.
It's a good one
because it's 2:47. All right. Let me know when you're ready, Matt. And 3, 2, 1, triangle.
So hi everybody, DLH over here at Rehoboth Village Cemetery. We're getting so much activity. It's crazy on the K2. We're hearing voices, footsteps. We came over into this direction where Cindy had heard the woman humming. So we did a little EVP session and we did catch an EVP. It was pretty cool. I said, can you speak into my red light? And you hear this voice. How big is it? Or is it big? No, is it big, she said, right? Is it big? So I'm going to play it for you. I'm going to try to hold it close to the phone so you can hear it, and I'll replay it 3 or 4 times. But it's right after I say, speak into my red light, you'll hear her voice. It's really a whisper, but I'm hoping you guys can hear it.
And then the grunt right
Oh, and then the
afterwards.
grunt.
Oh,
right
yeah, we
afterwards.
caught a
It's like
grunt.
weird noise. That's really the only way to describe it.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Obviously, we're set up on a blanket here.
Okay. At the Rehoboth Village Cemetery, notice Cindy talking in the background. Cindy keeps hearing a woman. We would love to speak with you. If you come up to my red light, you can speak into my red light.
Wait.
Speak into my red light.
Wait, you gotta let it
Speak
go for the
into my
grunt.
red light. And tell me your name.
Okay, rewind that again.
Did you guys hear that?
Play that one more time. So you can hear it, now you know what you're listening for, and then you hear the weird noise afterwards.
Okay, let me rewind a little bit.
I was already checking out all the stones, showing them on Facebook.
Cindy keeps hearing a woman. We would love to speak with you. If you come up to my red light, you can speak into my red light. Speak into my red light. And tell me your name. And tell me your name. Red light. You can speak into my red light. And tell me your name.
There it was.
So I'm hoping you guys heard that. I just kept replaying it. Did anybody say if they could hear it or not?
Not yet.
Oh, I hope so, because that was a really cool one. So we're still getting a lot of activity on the K2 meter. The obelisk has pretty much been right on the money with everything that we've been talking about. So pretty cool. Cindy heard footsteps. Cool. We're getting a lot of activity tonight. So.
Yeah, we got the K2 here, the obelisk set up. So we'll keep you guys updated.
All right, that was DLH Paranormal out at the Rehoboth Village Cemetery. There was definitely something there. I couldn't quite make out what it was, but I definitely could hear something being whispered there, which is pretty cool. So they've got their first EVP of the night, and coming up in the next hour, we can also check up with an obelisk session that the Paranormal Expeditions did out in the Hockomock Swamp. We can check out some more of the stuff that's going on. We have the teams out there. We have Moniz is actually out in the field too as well. He's out near the dog track area. I think they're looking for Bigfoot again. So we'll check in with him at some point during the show as well. And we'll hear more from our teams out there in the Bridgewater Triangle area. Again, if you want to join us for our Bridgewater Triangle event, it's coming up November 4th. It's Mysterious Middleborough, and you can get your tickets at SpookySouthCoast.com. You get to investigate the Oliver House, which you've heard us talking about earlier tonight. We have a team out there tonight. You've heard us talking about in the past the things that have happened at the Middleborough Town Hall, and you get to investigate the Mayflower Lodge. The Masonic Lodge is right across from the Town Hall as well. So all that's going on. There's also still some tickets left for next Saturday night. There will be no show because you're away.
I will be in Sleepy Hollow, New York.
I think Moniz is away. Matt, if you're not going away, you might as well.
Should I go away?
You can stay here.
Okay.
You guys can do
You
your
can
own.
come to Sleepy Hollow.
Cody and Ashley, you guys can just do the show. We'll teach you how.
I already know how to do a show. I'll just start
No, this
singing.
show, I mean.
Oh.
We'll teach you how to press these buttons and all that stuff.
I don't know. I heard
Someday.
It's like a
I had to do
panic
it once. It wasn't that bad.
Someday.
Thank God.
We dummy proof it as much as we can.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that we've let Moniz do it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Matt and I had a code worked out. What was our code? Code purple? If I panic, just hit the purple button.
But next Saturday night, I will be in North Andover, Mass. at the Parson Barnard House. You've seen it on Destination America's Haunted Towns on the Salem episode. We'll be doing an event there as well, so you can get those tickets on SpookySouthCoast.com as well. So many things coming up here in the coming weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Join in all the fun, but then make sure you join in all the fun with us coming up in the next hour when we check in more with our teams across the Bridgewater Triangle. It's our annual Bridgewater Triangle Investigation Night. We do it once a year. It's people circle it on their calendar. They say this is the night that if any night Spooky South Coast is going to screw up on the air. So we want to make sure that we tune in and check it out. And we haven't done it yet, but we've also kept it safe by talking about sneakers and beer and other things.
We haven't talked about
but
snacks yet.
Snacks is coming.
Okay.
And so we did mention the birthday cake. We'll talk about all that coming up in the next hour, but take a quick break. We're going to take a break for the news here. We'll come back with our news with Ashley in studio. Stay tuned.